How Rings of Power expands Tolkien's world by honoring his work. Dialect coach Leith McPherson has been there and back again. Now she's crafting a new era in Lord of the Rings history. A decade ago, the UK-born, Australia-based dialect coach worked with the actors of Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy, teaching them both the fictional languages of J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, namely Elvish, Dwarvish, and Orcish, and unearthing accents for characters who speak the common English tongue. Now McPherson has re-embarked on her unexpected journey. She's once again on the on-set dialect coach, this time for Amazon's upcoming prequel series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. With the sun rising from her apparent window in Sydney, McPherson lectures me on her expertise. For example, she details the intricacies of Quenya, a dialect of elves that is like Elvish Latin in the Third Age, but commonplace in the Second Age, when the Rings of Power takes place. In her words, Elvish is a beautiful and lyrical language, Quenya in particular, as the elves use it for spellcasting. It stands in contrast with Orcish, which McPherson describes as an affront to the listener. It should feel awful to speak and to hear, she says. It's guttural, it's harsh, it's full of rough consonants. All language is, all language is a physical act upon the listener. Elvish is beautiful experience, Orcish is awful. The Dwarvish language, meanwhile, strikes a balance, both of uniquely heartly quality. These are the people connected to the earth, to the stone in particular. It evokes their very solid presence. It's beautiful, but there is rough quality, a feeling of weight. Such attention to detail for imagined things is how J.R.R. Tolkien forged his famous saga. It's also apt to describe McPherson's work behind the scenes for the buzzy Amazon series. I wanted to touch on this article because we have seen a lot of comments and critiques for the show and the showrunners, the writers, the actors, everything, saying that they are basically, they don't care about Tolkien, they don't care about previously established Lord of the Rings lore or canon. And I think this article goes in detail and explains that while there are some areas where they may be going in a different direction to our, not to our liking, this shows that they at least do care and are trying to still be involved within the larger Tolkien canon universe, if you will, and not just write a random show and try to capitalize on Tolkien's name or the title Lord of the Rings. So I thought this was interesting, and this article does have some really neat background that, you know, from someone who doesn't make TV shows for a living, I wouldn't have even thought of. So this is great, and I think this is a very big positive piece of news that is going overlooked, because we do tend in all fan spaces, I think, to focus on the negatives right now. But if you want to hear more positivity as well as some reluctance as we get closer and closer to the Rings of Power, subscribe, because we are going to be breaking down some other Lord of the Rings works that maybe are lesser known, as well as touching on any piece of news that comes up such as this. So hope to see you there.